Hello all, welcome to R&D Labs with me Rohan, and in today's session we are going to see how to write a function to your Swift project. Before I begin, let me explain to you what a function is. A function will help you reuse your code within your project. You write a piece of code and you can call this function anywhere within your project. It is generally considered a very bad practice for anyone to repeat their code in the project. So in today's session, we are going to write a function, we are going to add a parameter to a function, and we're going to return a value from a function. So how do we do this? Let's get started. So for this tutorial, I have created a starter project in Swift using storyboards. And as we know, we are going to see how to write a function. So in Swift, you begin to write a function with a func keyword. So let's write func and then you give the function name. Usually you name a function associated with the purpose for it. So in my case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to print the current date and time when we call this function. So let me just write func and I will specify get date and time, and I will close the brackets and I will open the curly braces, and over here I'm going to declare a constant which will say let the date is equal to date, and I'm just going to say print the date. Okay, so this is the function that we have written. So just by writing a function, it will not work. You will have to call this function somewhere. So what we're going to do is once the application loads, we will be calling this function within the view.load method. So let's copy this and let's call it within view.load method. And let's see how does it print. Okay, you see this? So what the compiler has done is it has gone into view.load method and then it has called the function which in turn runs the statement. Okay, so now that we have seen a basic function, let us see how to write a function with parameters within it. So for this purpose, we are going to create a function which will accept string value within it as a parameter, and it's going to check whether the string is empty or not. You must have used this kind of a logic within your program to check if the text field is empty or not. So I think in my opinion, this would be an apt example for you to see how a function with parameter can be used. So for this purpose, we will create a function by the name validate text field. So let's write func validate text field, and let's give it a parameter by the name text, and the type of the parameter is string. All right, so this is the name of the parameter, and we are going to open the curly braces. Let's first stop a debugger, and we are going to check if the text is empty or not. So simply I will just say if text is equal to empty, and we will just write print empty, empty, else false. All right, so what we have done over here is we have created a function which accepts string value within it, and it is going to check whether the string is empty or not, and it is going to print the value empty or false depending upon the condition. So let's add this function to the view.load method, and I will copy this and I will call it below the get date and time function that we have added. And for the parameter text, we are going to pass a string value which is R&D labs, and we are going to run this and see what shows up on the output window. So let's run this. So what shows up over here is that the function has been called, and that is validate text field function has been called within view.load method, and for the parameter text value R&D labs was passed, and it has gone into this section where it validates whether the text is empty or not, and it is returned false for that. So this is how a function is written with parameters within it. Next up, we are going to see how to return values from a function. Till now, what we have seen is we have just returned two functions and we have called those functions within viewDidLoad method. But now what we are going to do is we are going to return value from a function and use it within viewDidLoad method. So how to return a value from a function? You have to use the return keyword and you have to first specify the function of a specific type. So for this purpose, after the parameter list, use a dash and a right angle bracket and specify the type of your function. It could be the string, it could be double, it could be integer, whichever type is possible. So in my case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to either return true or false if the string is empty or not. And I'm going to remove the print statements and use this value in the viewDidLoad method and print it from there. So I'll specify string as a function type and I'm going to remove the print statements from here and I'm going to just write a return and remove the brackets as well and just specify true and I will return here as well and specify false. So if you're writing string as a type of the function, you must return string from the function. So if you specify integer, it will throw an error. As you can see, it will throw an error. There it is on your screen. So I will revert it back to string. So after this is done, I'm going to write a print statement from here, which will print the value from the function. So let's run this and see. There it is. So instead of writing print over here, we have just returned the value either true or false from the function, and we have called the function within viewDidLoad method, and we have print the value from the function in the output window. So this is how you add a function to your Swift project. Is it mandatory to add a function to your project? Absolutely not. But I will highly recommend anyone who's trying to maintain quality to their application to use functions so that they don't repeat the code in their project. I hope you liked this video. If you still have any doubts, please reach me out in the comment section. Please like and subscribe to the channel and see you until next time. Cheers.